Hey everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV, and let's get into everything that I covered during the Crypto Minute. We're going to start off with the U.S. bond market. U.S. bond market is at 3-year lows. That's big. That's not good for the bond market, but it could be good for crypto, and it could be a sign that inflation could be kind of easing up a little bit. Not so sure. We'll see what happens with that, but BlackRock is not getting into it at all. They're leaving that one alone. Something else that I noticed. So I didn't realize that for a lot of CBDCs, tokenized assets were not on the table. So the French central bank is saying, listen, if you're a country and you want to do a CBDC, you had better have, an answer for tokenized assets. And the reason why is because if you don't, well, stablecoins can already handle tokenized assets. And if you really think about it, banks, not countries, well, some countries, but banks have already been practicing with tokenized assets using stable coins and other things. So when you look at CBDCs, if governments are not actually looking at, emerging technologies, whoever needs that service, they're going to turn to alternative settlements like stablecoins that already have those features. And it goes to show that, our governments are very slow to react to things. Just saying. So when I look at, decentralized finance and what it can bring and just all the technologies that are involved there, I'm looking at a government that, that governments around the world are kind of slow to react, really slow to react. And that gives stable coins a really big head start. So there's something to think about right there. I just gave you good news about Bitmain yesterday. Their deal with $19.2 million deal with Iris Energy for about 7,000 Bitcoin mining piece of equipment. I'm sitting here and I'm just going, I think they're S29, something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they don't have enough money to pay their employees. They have suspended employee salaries. And I'm sitting back and I'm saying to myself, wow, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So now it made me stop and think so last year on December 28th, I told you that Galaxy Digital had bought, a crypto mining facility, I believe is in Texas, from Argo blockchain. And when I look at that, I'm considering, well, would they be interested in maybe, doing that again? And I'm like, I wonder how many companies would be looking at Bitmain and saying, we could snatch up a Bitmain and start making some money. So it's very interesting. It is very, very interesting. Just saying, I think Galaxy Digital has enough money to do it. There are a lot of companies out there that have enough money to do it. Question is, would they? I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. Something that I found to be interesting is Bitstamp has a service called Bitstamp as a Service. Now, they're also saying that there are 3 big name banks, household name banks in Europe that are interested in the service. And I'm like, man, that would be crazy. I mean, any bank that doesn't have its own exchange could be looking at them to provide, the tech behind that exchange, either providing the technology behind the exchange or providing them a black label version, meaning it's still Bitstamp, but they get to black label it as their own exchange, and they make money off of those inflows. Wow. That would be, I've been telling you for a while that banks have to rethink what banking is, right? Because they need those inflows. They need those cash inflows, that, weekly salary, salary checks, paychecks. They need that money to do what they do. So now I'm wondering, well, I'm not even wondering, it would bring in business, but it would also keep attention. Because if I'm still doing business with you, even though that a bulk of that business is still going to a centralized exchange, if I'm still doing business with you, you're coming to your bank and your bank is providing that service, well, that still counts as inflow and that still counts as money for them. So it's kind of a big deal. So I pay attention to that. Something else that caught my attention is Binance introducing copy trading for futures. It's been a service for a little while, and guess what? They're making money off of it. They're making money, and there's more interest. So Binance, not to be outdone, you know something else that Binance is doing? Binance looked at the FCA rules and regulations about risk labels, and guess what? Originally, they were going to leave the UK market. They've decided that they're going to abide by those rules. Binance is recognizing that they're going to lose market share if they keep exiting markets. Because then you're saying, well, it's only focused in specific markets. And so they caught the hint and they're figuring it out. Smart move, I think. Very smart move. A move that is also smart for the person, maybe not the company, is Ripple's CFO leaving to go over to Maven Clinic. That's a wow moment. That really is a wow moment, because it's not sudden for her, because imagine what the interview process was. But it's probably sudden for Ripple. She probably gave them a little bit of notice, but I mean, she went straight from Ripple right over to Maven Clinic. I mean, she even changed her LinkedIn profile. That's big. That's big. So that means there's an opening out there. So if you're a CFO and you know what you're doing, you might want to dust off that resume and shoot it on over to Ripple. But Ripple is looking for a CFO, and I think that's the part that's unexpected. I think for her, it was planned. C-suite interviews are not really quick. They take time. I think she gave notice to Ripple, and it's somewhat planned, and we'll have to see if there's any kind of succession plan in place over at Ripple or anything like that. But probably came as a little bit of a shocker. Or maybe, I mean, because they're not saying, like, nobody's saying why she's leaving. It could be for a better opportunity for her in her career, or it could have been because there was just strife at the company and she just got tired of it and she wanted to bounce. Who knows? But hey, she made her move, and good luck to you. Now, I've been looking at, different projects that say that they are a competitor to Ethereum. One such project is Avalanche. Avalanche is still on my favorites list, but Avalanche has not been doing well. Avalanche year to date is down over 10%. It's 10.37, something like that. Being down under 10% is not cute, right? Especially when you compare it to Ethereum. When you look at Ethereum is up almost 40%. That's a huge gap. You don't even want to compare it to Solana. That would be embarrassing. Solana's up over 120% year to date. -10, positive 120. That's not good. Actually, I think it's 130. So that's not a good situation for Avalanche. VanEck says, hey, they've been having very exciting news and things like that. And who knows what can happen in a bull market. But when I look at different projects, I've got projects that say they have specific use cases, and I try to find similar projects with those use cases. And then I look at that bucket and I see what rises to the top. What are my long shots in that space, and what are my dependable steeds in that space? And then I make a decision. So when I start going over, the different portfolios that people have been sending me, that's one of the tools that I'm going to be using. Anyway, I would go over the numbers, but I really want to go over the numbers later on, because the market is getting rocked. I mean, we're still moving laterally a little bit further up, but the markets are still getting rocked. Anyway, this is Eddie J on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV. I hope you have a great day, and hopefully we'll have more news for you later on. Have a good one. Bye-bye.